team at 5'8", but Japanese guard Yuki Kawamura got the biggest cheers from the crowd as he whipped out the gritty with Ja Morant to beat out the other rookies in the annual dance comp.
You know that feeling when you're the new kid at school and everyone's staring? Now imagine that, but in front of 18,000 screaming fans. That's what Yuki Kawamura felt walking into his first home game with the Grizzlies.
He's a joy to be around. He's a character.
He's full of energy. He's got, bubbling personality. I'm glad he was able to showcase that, center court in front of the fans.
But here's the crazy part. Instead of freezing up, this guy turned the whole arena into his personal dance floor. I'm not kidding. 1 minute, it's a regular NBA practice. The next, there's this 5'8" ball of energy teaching Ja Morant Japanese and busting out dance moves that would make TikTok jealous. The fans went wild, chanting Yuki, Yuki, like he was a rock star. You won't believe how this rookie from Japan stole the show and won over an entire city in one night. Picture this, a 5'8" guard from Japan walks into an NBA locker room. Sounds like the start of a joke, right? But for Yuki Kawamura, it's the beginning of his wildest dream coming true. Let's rewind a bit. Before he was turning heads in Memphis, Yuki was tearing it up in Japan's B-League. We're talking MVP status, folks. This guy was a straight-up beast, starting all 56 games last season and putting up numbers that'll make your head spin. 20.9 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's video game good. But here's the thing, making it to the NBA isn't just about stats, especially when you're coming from overseas and you're, well, not exactly the tallest guy on the court. Yuki had to face challenges that would make most players shake in their sneakers. New country, new language, and a style of play that's faster and more physical than anything he'd seen before. It's like going from playing checkers to 3D chess while someone's trying to tackle you. Imagine Yuki's first day with the Grizzlies. He walks into that locker room, probably feeling like his heart's about to jump out of his chest. Everyone's watching, wondering who this new guy is and if he's got what it takes. Yuki himself said, "I'm chasing my dream of becoming an NBA player." You can almost feel the weight of that dream, can't you? But here's where it gets crazy. Yuki didn't just survive in the preseason, he thrived. In just 15 minutes per game, he was dishing out 4.2 assists and scoring 3.4 points. That might not sound like much, but remember, this is the NBA we're talking about. And get this, he led the entire team in assists during preseason. A rookie leading the Grizzlies in assists. That's like a freshman showing up to college and acing all the senior level classes. So how did this unknown rookie become the talk of Memphis overnight? It wasn't just his play on the court, it was his energy, his attitude, his willingness to learn and grow. Yuki didn't just play basketball, he brought joy to the game. And fans, they eat that stuff up, but Yuki's impact, it goes way beyond what you see on the stat sheet. You won't believe what happened in that locker room. This 5'8" ball of energy didn't just change the game, he changed the entire vibe of the team. And that's where things really get interesting. Remember that quiet kid in school who suddenly became the life of the party? That's basically Yuki Kawamura's story with the Grizzlies, but cranked up to 11. This rookie's not just fitting in, he's transforming the whole team atmosphere. From teaching Japanese to leading dance-offs, Yuki's taking the Grizzlies on a wild ride. But here's the real kicker, it's making them better on the court too. You know how some rookies try to lay low and not make waves? Yeah, that's not Yuki. Before he arrived, the Grizzlies locker room was your typical NBA scene. Guys focused on their game, maybe some small talk here and there, but mostly just business. Then Yuki walks in, and it's like someone hit the fun switch. This guy doesn't just play basketball, he's a one-man entertainment show. 1 minute he's teaching his teammates Japanese, the next he's cracking jokes that have everyone in stitches. And don't even get me started on his dance moves. It's like he brought a piece of Tokyo nightlife to Memphis, and his teammates are eating it up. You should see how Yuki's energy is affecting the team. Those quiet guys who used to just keep to themselves, they're opening up, joining in on the fun. It's like Yuki's enthusiasm is contagious. Even Jake LaRavia couldn't help but gush, saying, "I think Yuki definitely stole the show today. He's a character." That's high praise from a teammate, folks. But here's the crazy part. Yuki's not just a class clown. When it's game time, he flips a switch and becomes laser focused. It's like watching two different people. Off the court, he's all smiles and dance moves. On the court, he's dishing out assists like a seasoned pro. That contrast, it's got everyone talking. Now you're probably wondering what dance move Yuki busted out that had everyone going wild. Well, get this. It was the gritty. You know, that dance that's been taking over TikTok and NFL end zones? Yeah, Yuki's got that down pat, and when he broke it out in front of the team and the crowd, let's just say Memphis might need to reinforce their arena because the place nearly came down. Even Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins couldn't help but smile. He said, "He's a guy that's full of energy. He's got a bubbling personality." I'm glad he was able to showcase that in front of the fans. When you've got the coach singing your praises like that, you know you're doing something right. But hold on to your seats because Yuki's not done yet. His dance moves might be turning heads, but it's his way with words that's really bridging the gap. Turns out this guy's got a knack for languages that's bringing the team closer than ever before. Who knew a little Japanese lesson could change a whole team dynamic? Ever tried learning a new language? Now picture an entire NBA team doing it together. Yuki's not just breaking ankles on the court, he's breaking down language barriers in the locker room. And there's one Japanese phrase that's about to change everything for the Grizzlies. When Yuki first joined the team, it was like watching a game of charades on steroids. Imagine trying to call out plays when half your team thinks you're ordering takeout. Practices were a wild mix of pointing, gesturing, and probably a lot of confused head scratching. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture with instructions in a language you don't speak. Frustrating but hilarious to watch. But Yuki, he didn't just sit back and let the language barrier win. Nope. This guy decided to turn the Grizzlies locker room into his own personal Japanese classroom. Picture Ja Morant, one of the smoothest players in the league, tripping over his tongue trying to say konnichiwa. It's comedy gold, I'm telling you. And the misunderstanding? Oh boy, they're the stuff of legend. One time, a teammate thought Yuki was teaching them how to say nice shot in Japanese. Turns out they were actually saying I love tofu every time someone scored. The look on their faces when they found out, priceless. But here's the crazy part. All these language lessons, they're bringing the team closer than a group hug after a buzzer beater. Guys who used to barely nod at each other in the hallway are now laughing together, trying to out-Japanese each other. It's like Yuki sprinkled some magic Tokyo dust in the locker room, and suddenly everyone's best friends. Now, you're probably wondering about that team slogan I mentioned earlier. Well, get ready for this. There's one Japanese phrase that's become the Grizzlies' secret weapon. It's like their own personal battle cry. Every time they break a huddle, instead of the usual 1, 2, 3 Grizzly, they're shouting something in Japanese that's got everyone fired up. Want to know what it is? Drumroll, please. It's arigato. That's right. The simplest thank you in Japanese has become the rallying cry for an entire NBA team. Who would have thought gratitude could be so powerful? But when you hear the whole team shouting it together, man, it gives you chills. But hold on to your hats, folks, because Yuki's charm offensive isn't stopping with his teammates. You won't believe who else is falling head over heels for our Japanese sensation. Let's just say, the next time you see Coach Jenkins, you might mistake him for a kid who just got a puppy for Christmas. You know what's crazier than seeing an entire NBA team learn Japanese? Watching a tough-as-nails coach turn into a grinning fanboy. Coach Jenkins' journey from doubter to believer is wilder than a Ja Morant dunk, and it all started with one simple phrase from Yuki that changed everything. Picture this, Coach Jenkins, clipboard in hand, eyebrows furrowed, watching this 5'8" newcomer from Japan step onto the court. You could practically see the gears turning in his head. How am I gonna fit this guy into our system? It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Tricky, to say the least. But here's where it gets good. Yuki didn't just show up, he showed out. This guy's work ethic, off the charts. His attitude, gold medal worthy. It wasn't long before Coach Jenkins' skeptical looks turned into double take. Imagine his surprise when Yuki starts leading the team in assists during preseason. That's right, a rookie dishing out dimes like he's been in the league for years. And the fans? Oh man, they fell head over heels for Yuki faster than you can say slam dunk. During an open practice, the whole arena erupted into chants of Yuki, Yuki, Yuki. It was like Beatlemania, but with more basketball and less British accents. Fans were making signs, posting like crazy on social media, begging the team to give Yuki a shot at the big time. Now here's where Coach Jenkins' transformation gets real. After seeing Yuki in action, averaging 3.4 points and 4.2 assists in just 15 minutes per game, something changed. It was like watching the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. Suddenly, Coach couldn't stop grinning every time Yuki touched the ball. You should have seen Coach Jenkins after that open practice. He was practically glowing when he said, he's a guy that's full of energy. He's got a bubbling personality. I'm glad he was able to showcase that in front of the fans. That's not just coach speak, folks. That's the sound of a man who's found his new favorite player. But the real kicker, the Grizzlies didn't just keep Yuki around for laughs. They promoted him to a 2-way contract, showing they're serious about making him part of their future. It's like watching your favorite underdog movie, but in real time with real stake. Now, you might think this is where our story ends. Rookie wins over coach and fans. Cue the happy ending music, right? Wrong. Because for Yuki Kawamura, the real test wasn't practice or preseason. It was his home debut. And let me tell you, what happened next is the stuff of NBA legend. Yuki Kawamura isn't just shaking up the Grizzlies. He's redefining what it means to be an NBA player. This 5'8" dynamo from Japan is proving that heart and hustle can outweigh height any day of the week. His journey from B-League MVP to NBA rookie is like something out of a movie, but it's happening right before our eyes. Think about it. In a league of giants, Yuki's showing that sometimes the biggest impact comes from the smallest player on the court. He's not just playing basketball, he's bringing joy back to the game. From teaching Japanese to busting out dance moves, Yuki's energy is infectious. So next time you're watching a Grizzlies game, keep an eye out for number 00. That guy with the big smile and even bigger heart, he might just surprise you. Because in Yuki's world, it's not about how high you can reach, but how far you can lift those around you.